Hello and welcome to the Wise Children podcast. It has been nearly a year since we did one of these and we've decided it's time to get the gang back together. So we are sat in the Frome office of Wise Children and I am sat around a table with Poppy Keeling.
Hello.
Jay Jones.
Hello.
And Simon Baker.
Hello.
And we are going to be discussing, amongst other things, TLC, The Lucky Chance, our new venue. The Little Matchgirl, our first performance in that venue, which wasn't supposed to be a venue, was only going to be for rehearsing, but we're Wise Children, so we decided to make a venue anyway. We'll talk more about that in a minute because that's tipping everybody over the edge. And we're also going to talk about Bluebeard, which is our next big show. So, Simon, what should we start with? Lead us through this mire, this mess, this forest of projects.
Well, I felt we should get back together and do one because it was last September we were last together, and that's not great for our ongoing podcast series. So
it makes them really exclusive.
It does make them exclusive. I just feel we might need to do a few more a year, maybe.
Done.
But what's been happening since last September? So that's when we last spoke, which was I think we'd just taken over the Lucky Chance, hadn't we? We hadn't started work on it, or maybe we'd started doing things we thought would work on it. And we've had Wuthering Heights go out on tour, and now you're into a whole new section of shows.
And I suppose, I don't want to think about the past too much, but I suppose that's been the genuine story pre, during and post-pandemic is Wuthering Heights has been overwhelming. It was a massive show. How many people did we have on the road, Poppy?
I think it was 22 with a permanent touring company and then a few extras most of the time.
So a huge amount of people to be moving around the country and the world in the wake of the pandemic, and it's taken every ounce of our ability, energy, spirit. It's been amazing, and it ended at the Amsterdam Festival, Holland Festival, a couple of months ago, and it's been amazing, but it's been quite hard to think beyond it. But as we've been doing that, the Lucky Chance has been being renovated. So this is where I'm smiling at Jay Jones because, and Simon Baker, two of the greatest sound geniuses and designers in the business, have been sanding floors, electrocuting yourselves, building sheds.
Yeah.
Tell us, give us an update on where we are with our venue.
Well, we're doing really well. We've completed what we think we were calling the first phase of works, although the phases have all blurred. But we now have a new kitchen and some new lovely toilets.
So we just have to pause here for a moment. I've known Jay for many years, but in the last year, he's only ever looking at toilets. Either online or in reality.
Tiles,
yeah,
grouting.
Including coming out of a lot of toilets in, bars, theatres, having just taken loads of pictures of them.
Yeah, that's going to be worrying when someone hacks the cloud.
It's very important, though.
It's very important. Toilets are huge, and anyway. We can't talk about toilets on a podcast because that's a whole nother podcast probably now.
Toilet cast.
It could be a hit. But the toilets are very important in a venue, and people. If you go to a place with bad toilets, everyone talks about it. I think, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So anyway, we've got some lovely toilets, and we've had some ups and downs along the way. In sort of first phase, of course, old buildings fight back when you try and do work. So we found asbestos, and we found damp walls, and we found all sorts of things which, of course, weren't planned for, but we've overcome. And we've now finished that, and we're on to sort of the more exciting part, I suppose, of the project now, which is trying to convert it into a phase 3.5, which is a performance venue.
And we've been a bit nutty because, although I think we've been clever, but I would say that because whilst Jay and Simon and all the workmen have been renovating this beautiful old Methodist church, we've also been working in there. So we have run the School for Wise Children, we've done several R&Ds. In fact, we're teaching in there at the moment. So what happens is that there's pockets of building work, and then we all have to come in and clear it up, and then we do creative work, and then it goes back to the builders. The really bad thing about that is the amount of cleaning we all do. Yes. How many hours did we do on Sunday?
Probably did less than some people around this table, but I was there for about 5 hours, I think.
How many trips to the tip?
Only 2 that day. But I know Frome tip very well.
So there's a lot of tidying, and so it's hard for the building works to keep going, but it does push us forward. I do feel that every time that there's a school or a workshop, we lurch forward onto a new chapter. So in fact, the new stairs were finished just in time for the pick and mix workshop to start yesterday. So it's, it does.
And it's not perhaps the most efficient way of doing things to keep clearing up and then keep starting building again, but it does mean that our whole team, or most of the team, are really starting to feel an ownership of the space, because they have been and will have been involved at all these early stages, and they're working out which cupboards for which and how different bits of the building work, and I think that's really important.
Yeah, and I was talking to our carpenter about it as well, and it's actually, there's an interesting thing, maybe within the timeline of a project management thing, of going, well, actually, if we'd said, well, the deadline is the 27th of October now, we'd still be running down the clock to the 27th of October. But actually, these little kind of kick up the arses of, we must finish this set of projects by this point, because there are literally people arriving to work in the space, is kind of brilliant. And it gives us, of which we are a company of theatre makers, people that want to make things happen, it gives us a motivation to keep doing it, rather than just going, well, maybe we'll have a thing by October the 27th, or not.
And it is, come on, those big days like we had on Sunday, they're gruelling, and somebody painful. Yeah, Simon. Sorry, I'm laughing because Simon not only got sunstroke in the morning, but actually had an electric shock in the afternoon. Yeah. So they're dramatic, but they're also like the stuff of 1950s children's books. It is, let's put on a show, let's all muck in together, and there's something really, really comforting. You sleep really well after a day like that, and feel like you are part of a community, and that you're helping make something happen. So I'm going to push us forward a little bit, because one of the reasons that we're having to work so hard is because, having said that the Lucky Chance would be a place to teach in and rehearse in, I've decided in year one that it will also be a place to become a theatre. So would you people like to describe, when I flamboyantly say let's put on a show at Christmas, it just needs to be simple, which bits of just life I'm not understanding at that point?
It's the phrase, it needs to be simple, that I don't think you've grasped. Well, it's just the project moves, the building had to move on, didn't it? So originally, what you have to do for a rehearsal space, and we always talked about it being like the rehearsal spaces we'd normally work in. We thought if we could make it slightly better than those rehearsal spaces, we'd be onto something. And then we thought, well, we need to get it a bit better than that, because we've got to bring the school in, which means they're sort of not really our employees, so they're probably members of the public, so we need to get it a bit better than that. But bringing an actual paying member of the public into the space triggers all kinds of things we needed to do, and all kinds of rules, and all kinds of building regulations, and lots of things we probably hadn't considered. So we are going to do Little Matchgirl at Christmas. That was the big discovery, wasn't it? We thought we're going to do a show at Christmas, largely for the local community.
There really is a limit, because this beautiful, beautiful, tiny space is only going to be able to seat 60 people. That's the number that it can seat legally. I love that, you see. I think especially if you're opening a venue for the first time, we need to learn how to manage that space safely and beautifully, and I think 60 is a really nice limit on that. But it does mean it's never going to make any money, and the fact that I want everything to be bigger, better.
And I think that bit, I think the show bit, ironically, the show bit on its own would be fine, but it's not dissimilar to when we did the passenger shed, in that you've got the show, which we can make, and we're all really good at doing that bit. It's the venue bit of it that we're struggling with, because of course it's a standing start for us. So even something simple, like we know we've got to build a bar, but how high does a bar need to be? How big's the splashback at the back? And oh God, we've got to get water to the front of the bar as well as the back of the bar. It's all of those things that sort of take the time, and that's literally what we're in the middle of at the moment, is trying to get all those services built. So how do we scan a ticket? How do we sell a ticket? Or how do we use a till? It's all of that stuff that's quite complicated.
Between Jay and Simon, you've had to build a box office physically and online to sell tickets, to market it, you're doing everything, aren't you?
It was probably a bit naive and a bit stupid, but I also felt it was important for us. We could easily have bought into somebody else's box office, for example. We talked about it. We thought we could go and do that. But there's something quite good about us, as painful as it is today, there's something quite good about taking ownership of that whole way we interact with everybody. So if it's our box office and somebody rings us with a question about a ticket or an access thing, or they're going to talk to Steph, rather than if we'd have farmed it out, they're going to talk to whoever's in that call centre or whoever's on that box office. So I think it was a bit stupid because of the amount of work we've suddenly taken on. But I think long term, I think it's all right. I think it's quite good.
I've been thinking about the space, about how we describe the Lucky Chance, because I guess I do a lot of funding applications and a lot of sort of writing about the company for the public, and I keep coming back to calling it a creation space, which I guess doesn't really have a definition, and maybe there aren't a lot of creation spaces in this country, but I feel like there are in other countries, and people like Robert Lepage, you know, he has a creation space in Quebec City, and so it has a different definition. It's not just a rehearsal space, it's not just a training space for the school, it's not just a workshop where we create our shows. It does also have to have an element of open to the public, because you can't really create the kind of work that you make, Emma, without having the public come in. And it's not like a straightforward sort of feedback loop of make work, bring people in, change work. But it's something about being a porous space that the local community can come into and be part of and feed. I do think that's part of the creation of the work. So I think even though we perhaps didn't imagine we'd be putting on a show quite as fast as we are, I think it was always going to be part of the plan, and it always had to be part of the plan.
I love that expression, porous. That's lovely, isn't it? Yeah, I don't know. I mean, but it's interesting listening to us, isn't it? Is that however exhausted and fed up we get, we're just fiercely independent, and we want this to be ours, don't we? From beginning to, which is why we keep holding on to jobs and doing jobs that there might be simpler, quicker ways of doing it, but we just want every bit of this building to match who we are and what we believe in, and it's going to pay off. I keep saying we've got to think of it as not just as a year. We have to stop thinking this is an investment. We're investing this year in years of creative joy, and that it's going to be tough this year. But we're not only investing money, but our time and our creation and our imaginations. But if we get it right, which I have no doubts we're going to, this is what will bring us together with joy for the next decade minimum. That's what I think. So I'm going to talk a little bit about Little Matchgirl, just so everybody knows. So I made the Little Matchgirl when I was at the Globe for the Sam Wanamaker Playhouse. Those of you that know me know that I'm sort of, if you cut me in half, I've got wonder stories. You know, I love my folk tales and my folk stories. And when I was at the Globe, the Sam Wanamaker Playhouse is candlelit, and I just knew immediately I was going to do the Little Matchgirl, because the thought of having a single match and a little girl in that space was magic, and it was a magic show. And when I left the Globe, a bit like when Tina Turner said that she just wanted to leave her marriage with her name, I left the Globe with my work. It felt really important to me that I had my own work as I left the building. So we've got all the props and costumes, and the great thing about it is that the stories are told by this chorus called the Shut Eyes, and in many ways it could evolve. I could tell different Hans Christian Andersen stories every year, is that I've got this beautiful troupe of storytellers who are like travelling strange burlesque players. And this year they're going to tell a selection of stories, and next year they might tell a different one, but it's going to be really magic. Only 60 people. We're going to do delicious snacks. We're going to do a lovely bar, because if Jay spends his life looking at toilets, Simon spends his life looking at bars.
Yeah.
You look at bars as well, don't you?
We spend a lot of time in them.
Yes.
I mean,
We used to spend a lot of time in them.
oh yeah.
We now spend a lot of time gently talking to pub landlords saying, do you mind if we just take a quick photo behind your bar?
But it's going to be magic, and I can't wait. You know, a bit like we were talking about these, you know, the big Sunday clear-ups. I've rarely looked forward to a Christmas more, because I know we're all going to be doing the front of house. We're going to be running the bar. We're going to be.
You're head usher, aren't you?
I'm head usher. Me and Laura Keefe are going to be doing the ushering.
Yeah.
And I can't wait. It's really nice to go. I'm going to be there every night. I'm going to see every audience in, every audience out, and I can't wait. It's really nice to be not thinking about getting away from something, but thinking about leaning in. And that's really what this space has done for me. And I think we're going to be knackered at the end of it, but we are going to sleep like babies. We're going to be so happy.
You'll sleep like babies
Straight
for
into
a week,
rehearsal,
and then you're going to go straight into rehearsal for Bluebeard.
Yeah.
Which is the nice segue.
Yeah, so Bluebeard is the next thing. What can I say about it? It's a nasty story, Bluebeard, isn't it? It's one that I've always sort of not wanted to do because it's about a man who kills women. Not my favourite subject. But I woke up just over a year ago, sort of knowing that I had to tell it, and it's because I am fed up. Fed up is too... I'm over it, like us all, of the regular chime of women getting killed by men they know and men they don't know. And I thought, I want to tell Bluebeard, I want to do a feminist, angry, funny version of Bluebeard, and that's what we're doing. And it's a little bit frightening for me because after the exertion of Wuthering Heights, which came on the back of Wise Children, I've been doing more and more complicated shows, big adaptations of big novels, and I'm really going back to basics on this one. So we're just working from a story, we're devising, there isn't a script, which is driving everybody absolutely insane. Everybody keeps saying, but where's the script? And I'm like, it'll be there one day, but probably not before rehearsals. There's a plan, but it's quite complicated, and I'm out of my comfort zone and in my comfort zone at the same time.
And we're going to make it a Lucky Chance.
Yeah, it's going to be made entirely at Lucky Chance.
Which will be the first one we've made at Lucky Chance and then go and tech somewhere else.
Yeah, then we go to Bath Theatre Royal. And we're putting together a lovely company, although there's still some final bits of casting to do. And I think that's... What have I missed, Poppy?
I don't know. I was just looking at my phone briefly because I wanted to give a statistic that I can't remember, so I'm not going to, but I've been listening to a podcast about... It's a true crime podcast because that's the kind of person I am. But there was some stat that I heard yesterday evening as I was cycling home about how many women are killed by husbands, partners or family members around the world. And I was expecting the number to be every day, and I think it was 5 every hour or something, but I was trying to Google to check myself, but it was just so huge. You just sort of go, what? It's like it's genocide, but we don't talk about it like that.
No, the show's not going to be like that, but that is the motor for the show, isn't it? And the rise of the right and the rebirth of misogyny you can feel it, and you can feel it. I've been so blessed in my life and blessed with the men that I work with and the men that I've loved and continue to love. I'm this theme comes up in Bluebeard, but I'm the lucky one. But even the lucky one, at some point, the scales fall from your eyes, and you look at the Andrew Tates and you look at what's happening, and you look at the fact that in America
something's in the water.
The right to choose is being taken away from women. And this is big, and this is changing, and. Like I say, it's going to have all the regular Emma Rice magic and charm and funniness, but at its heart, it's a response to something that's happening that is really, really uncomfortable and really, really terrifying.
My mind has now also gone to the fact that I sort of have no doubt that the enormous themes and the emotional power of you're just all on top of that. And we're sort of not at the moment. The process of making the show feels to me like we're not really in those weeds at the moment. But ironically, the weeds we are in sound so different to that. We're desperately trying to work out how to saw a lady in half and find an illusionist that can help us with the most glitzy glam, trad, magic illusions, which feels quite. So the actual practical work happening on the show at the moment feels very far removed from the kind of beating heart of it. Yeah. But yeah, right now we're in the.
I don't want to be a spoiler. We don't know what's going to happen, but I'm feeling very tickled by misogynist tricks that we all watched in the 1970s very, very happily, didn't we? Different ways of torturing women in bikinis.
Yeah.
It's funny when you look through those lists of magic tricks, and it is just like, how shall we hurt this small lady?
And when's that? So when do we do that? January.
Yes.
We rehearse January.
Yes.
Tech February.
Yes.
When do we open in Bath?
We open in Bath. Oh, I should know this. Very beginning of February. I believe our official opening night is either the 6th or the 8th of February.
Yeah.
Let's put that in the metadata. And Bath is on sale. We've got a couple of weeks there.
Yeah.
We then go to
York.
Yes. Okay.
We're tiptoeing around the venues.
We're tiptoeing around
yet.
the venues that haven't announced yet. So some venues have announced, some venues have not announced. Keep your eye on our website for all the details. But lots of the venues are on sale already.
But we're up
there's
and down the
a
country
London
a lot.
venue which hasn't been announced yet, and that's where the tour's going to end. And we are also going to film it. And we are not quite sure what's going to happen with that film, but that will also be available for international friends at some point.
Yeah.
The tour's looking absolutely lovely.
It's going to be good. And when's Little Matchgirl on? That's soon. That's like we start rehearsals on the. No, loading. Nobody needs this for the podcast. I'm just recapping now. We load in on the 6th.
6th of November.
You start rehearsing the week
Rehearsals
after.
starting 13th of November, and then the shows are across the month of December. Last show on the 23rd of December.
Oh.
I know.
Yeah, it's going to be great.
But if you want to watch it, you have to get tickets quick because there's 60 a night.
And that we're not filming.
No.
That is
not
available it's an in-person live experience only.
I have to draw this to a close because I'm actually teaching up the road. I'm doing our brilliant School for Wise Children pick and mix, and they need me up there.
I definitely need you.
What are you going back to, Poppy?
I'm just going back to the Bristol office for an afternoon of meetings, I think. Exciting.
Lovely. I've got some things for you. Jay, hanging out in toilets or...
we're bars. We're
bars.
today.
We're bars. We've got to finish drawing the bar, that's right.
Bar drawings.
Okay, that's what we're doing. And we're gonna come back and do... We'll do an update on Little Matchgirl as we get into rehearsal.
Yeah, I will. We're going to get back into the podcast seats and I'll get some of the actors in on it as well.
Let's do it. All right.
Thanks, everybody.